Hi everybody, it's Cheryl and it's Solo Sunday, and I'm sitting here on this last Solo Sunday of 2019 and reflecting on all kinds of different things and noticing how I am transitioning into 2020. And next week I'm going to share with you something about 2020 and the numerology behind it, so I hope you'll join me. But today I really wanted to talk about communication, and especially for some of us, like myself, I've already experienced the empty nest syndrome, and I've done it when I was married and shared it with a partner, and I also then had the empty nest when my other child left, when I was already living alone. And thank goodness I still have one at home. So I'm not quite there yet, but each time somebody left the nest, there was different feelings that came up. And we all experience it a little differently. So today's labor of love, what I want to share with you is a technique that you can use if you're with a partner. Do it with your partner. It's a great sense of reconnection to each other and all the possibilities where you came from, where you are today and for tomorrow. Or if you are solo, then I invite you to really approach a trusted friend, somebody you really want to share something with, share where you are now and that you trust, because we're going to leave all ego behind as we do this exercise and enter 2020. I want to give you a little bit of a secret that I'm holding for you. So 2020 has great change. 20 is unity and opportunity, those two numbers. Again, I'm going to go into this next week. But 2020 is my changing of decade, not only in the year we are, but also in my age. So as I step from 50s into 60s in very few months, what it is that I've experienced, I want to share with you. And this exercise is something that really helped me communicate with different people along the way, but most importantly, it helped me to connect with myself. And it's something that I share when I host a retreat amongst my guests. We witness each other and communicate with each other. So this is about receiving and giving. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, with the person that you're choosing to share this moment with, this transition with, this communication exercise with, I invite you to each take a chair, and you're going to put them side by side but facing other directions, so that when you sit down into these chairs, you're almost touching, or if you can touch, that's great. You know, that energy that you feel between the two of you is going to be very key, because we also speak not only with our bodies, not only with our words, but with our energy to people. So I'm going to ask you to share that space with the other person. So I invite you to take a chair. Each of you put them side by side, facing other directions where your shoulders will match. The second thing in preparation is to get a timer. Now you can do this exercise with no timer at all and just run with it, but timing sometimes helps you feel more confident that there's a beginning and an end. Set it for 3 minutes on vibrate. Now, who's ever going to be the listener holds the timer, okay? So you're in charge of the timing. Put it on vibrate so that we're not interrupting the other person when they are sharing, that they allow themselves the time to flow. And what you're going to do is you're just going to sit there when you're ready, and one person is going to speak for 3 minutes. Just sit there and listen. I want you to invite eyes closed if you're comfortable with that, because it really gives you a sense that you can say what you want without judgment. And that's why you're also facing in other directions, because you're not reacting to the other person's body language, or whether or not they're reacting in a certain way with what you're sharing. And share everything about what you've experienced together, where you are now. And again, if it's an empty nester, how does that feel? What are your fears? What are the things that you're excited about? I know what it feels like. I know when your child leaves a nest, I had a sense of dread on one hand, not that I was losing a child, but it was a finishing to one chapter of that childhood, but also a sense of excitement. It gives you a little bit more freedom, a little bit more time to be who you are, and maybe in a couple, how you want to be together. So again, sitting, inviting into this space, shoulder to shoulder, opposite directions, no judgment, no ego, just let go, surrender to the moment. Listener, this is your time to share what you're feeling with each other, okay? And just go with it. Explore, talk, share. And at the end of it, I want you to say to the other person, thank you for hearing me. That's your acknowledgement. That's your gratitude moment. And the way you can signify if you're the listener to the other person, when the timer goes off, because they won't hear it, gently touch them on the shoulder. And that is their time to know you can finish or you can keep going. But we have reached the end. So there's a start and the end. Then repeat it. Change positions. And let the other person speak. And the other person listen. And again, when you're done, when you've shared everything again that you've experienced in the past, where you're feeling now, what you want for the future, then say thank you to that person as well. After that, I invite you to turn the chairs around, knee to knee, facing each other. And that's the time where the first person shares what they witnessed, what they heard from the other person. And at the end of it, say, thank you for trusting me with your heart. And then the second person explains, shares what they heard from you. And again, at the end, say thank you for trusting me with your heart. And that's the sign of communication. That's the openness of a communication. There's no judgment there. There's no ego there. You're surrendering everything that you need to surrender to that person that you trust, to that person you want to connect with, to that person that will be witnessing your future. That's the start of communication when you start building things together for this new stage of life, for this 2020, for this expansion. So I hope you really enjoy this last Sunday. You've had a new moon this week. We're going into a new decade, a new year. It's exciting. And again, come back next week. I'm going to share with you the numerology behind 2020, the 2 and the 0, and what it means for you in the new year, for your personal growth, for your harmony, for your communication. And that's our time for today. Have a great New Year's, everybody, and I'll see you in 2020. Happy Solo Sunday.